Hey everyone, how's it going? Standing here, and today I'm bringing you guys a little bit of some Battlefield 1 gameplay, and we're going to be testing some Conquest with the Zim Apex. Now, before you guys go in the comment section and start blasting me, hey, you're fucking Zim scumbag, you're fucking shithead, and you know, you're horrible for using the Zim, hear me out, right? I can 100% tell you that I'm on your side. I think using the Zim is a scumbag move. I think it's a complete shitty move that Sony shouldn't allow. You know, I think that it's absolutely dumb that people are allowed to use mouse and keyboard on console, and that I think it borderlines cheating, right? And you know, for you guys that are using mouse and keyboard, don't just go keyboard warrior on me and then say, well, you know what, you know, you just fucking suck, you just fucking get clapped by mouse and keyboard, or just go buy yourself a Zim Apex. Well, first of all, you're watching Zim Apex gameplay, and second of all, it doesn't excuse the fact that, you know, this is really just honestly broken. You know, and you could say that, well, it's not cheating, it's just another form of playing. Well, you know, I'll talk about that a little later, right? But here it is, you know, to give you guys a little background about me and what, as far as, you know, where I'm coming from. I've always been a huge controller player. I very rarely played shooters on PC. Whenever I play them, I suck. I'm not very good with mouse and keyboard. And so, you know, naturally, I've always been playing console, and so, you know, so naturally, controller was just more natural for me, right?
You're all heroes.
But you know, after I heard about the Zim, you know, actually it was actually during when I was playing Overwatch on PS4. I know some of you guys might be laughing in the comments, like, Overwatch console, what a scrub. Okay, well, I own it on PC as well, but you know, this is where the problem becomes very prevalent. You know, as you reach higher up in the rank, even lower ranks as well. I mean, I've been playing on my Smurf, and I just hear people clicking away with their mouse and keyboards, and I'm just saying to myself, really, bro? Like, you're in plat, you need to use mouse and keyboard, like, and even so, you know, you're top 500, like, you know, you couldn't get up here with your controller mechanics. Like, that just makes me like, why, dude? And of course, you know, there are people like saying, oh, I got up here with mouse and keyboard, and you know, I got up here, you know, so, you know, your argument's invalid. Well, it doesn't mean that you're not a scumbag and a shithead, you know. I mean, that's just how it goes. Now, in this gameplay, don't get me wrong, you know, you might be thinking, well, you're using Zim Apex, what a bitch, you know, like, yeah, this is a scumbag move. This gameplay is actually really scummy, you know, and I'm not amazing with mouse and keyboard, as you can see. So, you know, anyone who says that, oh, mouse and keyboard just makes you an instant god, well, no, not quite. It's not. This is why I say it's borderline cheating, right? You know, and it's because of that, the fact that it's not like just straight up aimbot, that, you know, people just can't label it as straight up cheating, I guess you could say, and it's not something bannable on like Sony's behalf. I mean, Sony supports mouse and keyboard first of all, but like something Blizzard can't do anything about it. It's an emulation of a controller. Speaking of emulation of controllers, controllers is something called aim assist, and from PC games, you don't get aim assist. You know, you just don't. And you know, sure, some PC players might be like, oh no, aim assist just messes with my aim. You know, aim assist is fucked. You know, aim assist is stupid. It's a handicap to PC players. But for me, a console player that has switched over to PC, aim assist is actually greatly helpful. And to me, it's not a handicap. It's a huge advantage for me. It really helps me out greatly, you know. And I remember taking off aim assist, and I didn't suck, and I could still land pretty awesome shots. But even so, aim assist allowed me to just flick to targets that much easier, you know. And you might be, some of you guys, you know, might come from PC and have used the Zim. You're like, but you can't flick with the Zim. Okay, well, first of all, maybe because I was playing Call of Duty and I was just, you know, flicking to targets left and right, and having aim assist just kind of aim for me. But you know, with the precision of the mouse plus aim assist, it honestly is just so strong of a combo. You know, on controller, like, aim assist is barely just making up the disadvantage that you have, you know, whenever you're playing a shooter. You know, just the range of motion that an analog stick has is just so weak compared to what's it called, what console would have. Now, sorry if I'm rant. This is as you can see, this is kind of a rant, and I've got a long gameplay for it. But you know, one of the things about console, and what I've realized about console aiming compared to mouse and keyboard aiming, and this is what I want to say first of all to people that think that, you know, people who in the comments say, well, I'm using controller and I clap mouse and keyboard kids all the time, and I'm slapping their asses, dude. I'm a fucking beast on controller. Okay, cool. You're great at controller. You know, I've probably done it one time or another. You know, someone using mouse and keyboard and I clap them. All right, fair enough. Okay, but that is a very minuscule portion of the community, right? Now, here, for instance, you might be like, well, no, like, how do you know this? How can you prove this? Well, my answer would be, how can you prove it? But either way, a good example of something like why mouse and keyboard is far superior aiming-wise to controller is, look at Fortnite. Why do pro players play PC when they could play console, right? No, now don't give me the shit that, oh, Nick Merckx, Aiden, or all these other console players, they're good too, but look at the big Fortnite tournaments. Who are the tremendous winners out of that, And then out of the majority of players, why do they decide to play mouse and keyboard? Why do Overwatch pro players play mouse and keyboard as opposed to, well, console? Right? Now you could argue that console scene isn't very big and therefore they play PC, but this is a game that's designed from the PC up, and why do pro players naturally gravitate to saying, well, PC is just way easier to aim, and I think all my friends can back me when I say this, and that's not a source of credibility, but I think it's general consensus that it's just super easy to aim with mouse and keyboard. And then that might sound contradicting, I said earlier, like, I suck with mouse and keyboard, I'm not very good at it, but to be honest, someone who started with mouse and keyboard versus someone who started controller, I think it is a little easier to grasp the point and click rather than sort of, I guess, analog sticks, the timing to land on someone, Now, you might be wondering, well, what does it mean by when I say timing? Now, mouse and keyboard, the amazing thing about mouse and keyboard is that your range of motion is only limited by your desk or your arm. And if your desk is way big and your arm's just not long enough, then I guess it's your arm. But whatever it is, it's never just your I guess your circle of radius, I guess, I don't know, your circle size of the analog stick, right? And then on analog stick, you're kind of just timing it, right? You're timing it, then you're just timing it till you roam across the enemy and you shoot, right? Whereas mouse and keyboard, you just flick over to it and you can just stop perfectly, You're not waiting for your sensitivity to reach it. Rather, your arms controlling that range of motion, You know what I mean? And on the Zim, sure, you can't quite quote-unquote flick, but you can get very, very close to it. And I've done what I would say is a flick on Zim Apex. So to all PC players who, have played on, I've seen someone like the gaming definition say, well, no, this is not an advantage. This is just basic stuff, like this isn't one-to-one mouse and keyboard advantage, And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, how oblivious are you? You refuse to use controller on console, right? You can't use it because you know of the fact that the controller gives you such a huge disadvantage. This is why you use mouse and keyboard, because it does give you, maybe not quote-unquote advantage, but it is a stronger form of aiming. And anyone with half a brain would know that you aim better with mouse and keyboard. That's just how it goes. You take the time to master it, mouse and keyboard is just a superior way of aiming. There's no way around it, And, with that being said, then, is then an emulation of a controller cheating? Well, yes, because they're essentially just putting it to max sensitivity, and you're on a controller. This would be insanely hard to control, even with aim assist. That's super difficult to do. And to all the people using the Zim Apex, try playing at max sensitivity and having aim assist. Even with aim assist, I don't think it can save you there, to be honest. I would love to see that sort of thing. Sure, some of you guys might be able to do it. I promise you, though, the majority of the community won't be able to. That's why you guys use mouse and keyboard. Now, I didn't just play it on Battlefield either. I played it on Call of Duty. I played Overwatch. I played majority of the games that would, be a shooter. And I didn't test it on fighting games and stuff. Like, you'd be stupid to use a mouse and keyboard on fighting. Now, if you do, nothing against you. Maybe you're just that niche market, but I am personally not that type of guy who's able to do it. So I don't quite bother with it. But either way, I think it's safe to say that Zim is cheating, I guess. Now, is it as broken as aimbot? Not quite. However, I would say, like, if a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this doesn't give you an advantage, they're like, you could probably do without it, and 10 being this is blatant, this is aimbot, I would place this at a solid 8.5, maybe even 9 if you're a very good PC player. Oh my God, and for me, like, personally, I think like it's gotten ridiculous at how amazing it is. And I suck on mouse and keyboard, just period. I'm not good on mouse and keyboard, but here I am popping off in Call of Duty, popping off in Battlefield, and I'm clapping people. Now, and it's not even fair. I'm shooting people out of head glitches that I should have probably would have had a harder time winning with a controller, you know, and it's just,
Oh, he's dead.
I don't care however you want to word it, mouse and keyboard is just blatantly cheating. Now, other people might say, well, what about fight pads? What about racing wheels? Or what about gaming chairs? No, I'm joking. But, you know, what about control freaks? What about Scuf? You know, is that cheating?
Oh.
Now, here's where my little scale comes into play, right? Let's attack something like fight pads first, right? Take a look at someone like Sonic Fox and Perfect Legend, alright? Now, if you guys aren't well-versed in the fighting game community, that's fine. Let's give you a breakdown. There's a grudge match, I think, between Perfect Legend, Sonic Fox. Perfect Legend, longtime player, big guy in the Mortal Kombat community, or he used to be. I don't keep up anymore, but you know, he was a pretty big deal. He was a very solid player back then, and he used a fight pad, right? You know, the Razer fight pad, whatever high-tech gear that they're using for fighting games. And here comes Sonic Fox. He's a young-ass player who's really, really good at not just one game, but almost all the fighting games that he plays. You know, and to me, that's. Well, I mean, he's just a phenomenal player, first of all. But he uses just your normal PlayStation 4 controller. Now, I don't know what attachment he has. Maybe he has paddles, maybe he has Scuf. But from what I've seen, it just looks like a normal PlayStation 4 controller. It doesn't look customized or anything. And thing is, this guy 13-0'd Perfect Legend with a fight pad. Now, you might be saying, well, this is just one circumstance. Sonic Fox is a beast, you know. But you can take a look at... There are other players, too, I personally don't know the name of. But promise you, I've seen people just use the PlayStation controller on the freaking, what's it called, on the fighting game. I believe Dragon, CR Dragon, also uses a normal controller. And these newer, younger players who maybe may not have that money to acquire, say, a fight pad, just naturally use these things, and they're just super good at it. You know, and it's not to say he's only good at Mortal Kombat. He's played DOA, he's played all these other games, and he's dominating the scene with it. Fighting games, fight pads are truly another way of that you can play. People who have gotten used to the arcade way of playing fighting games, the old timers, they want the fight pads, they want the fight sticks, because that's what they grew up playing, I guess you could say, right? And then these newer players who grew up playing PS4 and stuff naturally use controller, and they can still clock the old timers, you know? And so it's not a cheating advantage, you know? If you were to give me a scale of 1 to 10, where would I put fight pads? Honestly, a 2. You know, I don't think it gives you that much of an advantage. Maybe to some people it might, who grew up playing on arcade sticks, but to new players, you could honestly clap people with a controller just fine. Alright, now let's tackle something else, racing wheels. Now, personally, I'm not a big guy in the racing scene. I don't play very many racing games. I mean, Mario Kart, for one, is probably the only closest thing I've touched to a racing wheel. And, you know, for me, that's just, I guess you could say that's a fallacy in my argument. But to me, racing wheels are just like fighting games. Racing wheels give you a simulation, like VR, that gives you sort of this more immersive way to play, rather than an advantage, you know? Because the racing wheel, it's still, I believe most racing wheels are limited. Their range of motion, I don't know if they're like actual cars, you know? And I don't know if games are optimized for them, you know? Rather, you know, I think when you're playing with a controller, you could still play quite well, you know? Like, you try playing GTA 5 with a fucking racing wheel, you know? Like, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. And I mean, have you played Mario Kart with that little racing wheel that it gives you? I don't think anyone ever plays with that. Now you could argue like the high-end racing wheels, and you know, again, I'm not well versed in this, so I can't say too much on it. But to me, it doesn't seem like it gives a huge advantage. It doesn't seem like it's cheating. In fact, the racing community doesn't. I don't see an uproar of people using that. So you know, is that a problem? I don't quite think so. Right, now we enter the field where you could potentially argue something, right? Control freaks and Scuf controllers, right? Scuf controllers and control freaks cheating. Now let's first engage in Scuf controllers, right? Aside from the analog sticks, you know, if you're buying a normal Scuf controller with normal analog sticks, right? No extensions, whatever. I don't think that's cheating. Now, why is that, right? Now, the thing is, you can play... what's it called? Claw. Claw allows you to basically, you know, use your middle fingers as on the triggers, and then as your, you know, index fingers are touching the face buttons. Now, you know, I play like that. You know, now I don't have to anymore. But you know, whenever I play Fortnite, for whatever reason, that's what I've told myself to do, I guess. And that's just what happens. And you know, it's not quite an advantage. It's just giving you more buttons and more ease of access of buttons, right?
Should be a third guy.
But it has nothing to do with your aim, you know? It's basically just straight up just ease of access, how you want to hit the buttons down low, and you know, you could have played Claw and you would still be on the same level playing field, right? You still have the access to those buttons. It's not as if you're limited by something, right? The only thing you're limited by is your own hands. And, you know, can you blame yourself for that? But here are control freaks, right? So, you know, if you wanted to scale, I guess it'd be, once again, like a 2. You know, or even a 3 if you want it. You know, it does give you a slight advantage. You might be able to jump drop shot a little faster or whatever, or your hand might not be as suffer as much pain or whatever it is. Fine, all right. I'll put it a 3 or a 4, all right. But okay, not a 4. I would put like a 3 out of 10 for as far as like advantage goes. Now, control freaks, right? And this is where I'm just gonna say up. It's like a blatant, I would say like 5. Now, this is the reasoning. Control freaks allow you to aim better. I'm not gonna lie. Whoever says control freaks doesn't help, well, maybe it's your preference then. But I feel that, oh my god, I really didn't see that guy. But you know, control freaks are essentially what it does is it sort of increases the movement, the range of your analog stick. However, you're still limited by the circle that the analog stick is locked into. You know what I mean? And so you're not limited by your desk size. Your desk size could be fucking huge, and you're only limited by your arm, you know, and it's actually just insane at what the mouse and keyboard do. But I'll talk about that in a bit. Control freaks really don't give you that much of an advantage. You know, it helps, but you can look at other YouTubers, they play just fine without, you know, the control freaks. Now you could be saying, well, you know, you're using all these guys who beat up other players as an excuse. You know, you're saying, oh, this guy uses normal control and he claps the kids with fight pads. You know, why can't I say the same about mouse and keyboard? Here's the thing.
Yeah, there's a tank I gotta hide.
The thing about mouse and keyboard, like I said, you know, first of all, it's blatantly obvious. Everyone thinks mouse and keyboard is a superior way of aiming. That's why when Shroud says, oh, I can't aim on controller just sucks, you know, controller's not the way to go. You know, okay, maybe he doesn't bash the controller, but, you know, he says, like, you know, I think mouse and keyboard is way easier to aim, you know, right? And that's why people like using mouse and keyboard to aim. It just simply is easier, and you can have way more precision with mouse and keyboard, right? However, you're playing against controller players who don't have that option. Now you could be saying, well, they could just go buy it. Well, not everyone has that money to dump into it, you know? And it's not even that, too. That's already a little bit iffy on of itself, right?
You think you can resume?
That's already, using mouse and keyboard, period, on console is already really scummy. Thing is, you guys get aim assist. And I've seen YouTubers say, you know what? The console players are using aim assist, so, like, controller players are using aim assist, so why shouldn't I be using aim assist? And that's stupidly it literally boggles my mind to think that there's people that dumb, you know. And I don't know what to say, you know. And trust me, I wouldn't be half as good if I didn't have aim assist. And the thing is, I don't care what people say. They might say, oh, I turn it off because, you know, I think it's, you know, that way is fair. Well, first of all, that's already not fair. But the fact that you have aim assist, that just makes you worse of a scumbag. You know, it's just absolutely shitty, I think, in my opinion. And it's just not right. I don't know what else to say about it, you know. Sorry guys if this is a rant, but that's honestly just, it's been a topic that has been on my head, and I've always thought about it. And you know, after finally owning a Zim Apex, I've come to realize that, well, shit, this is how it goes, you know. This is why people are able to make those shots in those kill cams. You know, this is why people are able to do this, and do that, you know. And I've seen channels, you know, Enemy MCLA or, you know, or MCLA Clan, I don't know how many on the keyboard, but, you know, Assault Rifle Master, and, you know, they're good players, you know, don't get me wrong, but to be honest, like, for reals, bro, like, they talk very big about themselves as if, you know, they're like on a fair playing field, and, you know, that's why they're able to clap these people, and that, you know, it's all skill that comes from them, you know. But when in reality, those other players could be good, but the fact is, when you're up against mouse and keyboard and they're using aim assist, it really is rather difficult, you know, to play against them, you know, especially if they're half decent mouse and keyboard. You know, I assume Enemy MCLA is pretty decent with the keyboard. That's how he's able to Moab, you know. And then, and so, you know, I'm able to Moab. So if you know, I'm shitty with mouse and keyboard. So if he's even half a brain as good on mouse and keyboard, he's gonna dominate people, and that's just how broken Zim is. And you know, some people might say, well, it's an advantage that you get for paying. You know, it's a pay to win type of thing. Thing is, it's only a pay to win type of thing if Sony actually supports it. And by that I mean Sony supports it in the way that you don't get aim assist. You get full native mouse and keyboard, mouse and keyboard support, and on top of that, it's done like Fortnite, where it's cross-platform. You're gonna play against PC players. You're going to play against other people who are using the same tools you are, and therefore that's fair. You know. Now you could argue, well, what about people with Scuf controllers? What about people with control freaks? Shouldn't you be matched up with them as well? Well, the thing is, you have to think about this. What are they still playing on? A controller. They didn't fully change their control scheme. They're still limited by their range of options. That's truly a slight advantage. That's never a full control swap. I mean, you can argue all you want, but when you argue to me that control freaks give you the same advantage as mouse and keyboard, I don't know what to say. I really don't. And don't get me wrong though. I'm not gonna lie. Mouse and keyboard is so much fun. I will give it to them. I see why people use it. This is practically easy mode. I remember just playing Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, all of these old games, all Call of Duties. I played, well, I mean, first of all, I can't get gameplays on PS3 anyways, and so, I don't really care about, me using mouse and keyboard on it. But man, oh man, dude, I am just shitting on everyone in that game, and I'm not amazing at those games. Now, Modern Warfare 3, I might be. I do drop a lot of Moabs, even on controller, but for reals though, like, it is absolutely just insane how strong mouse and keyboard is, and I can tell it's a lot of fun. It makes you feel good. You think you're actually good, and I go back to controller and I still pull off those gameplays, but definitely like mouse and keyboard just offers this sort of like easy mode type of thing. When you just want to sit back, relax, shoot people, and not have to, I guess, go try hard for your shit. Maybe I don't know. But it is fun. It is a different way to play. However, it is a scummy way to play. I think that's the way to put it. That's just how I see it. And that's just, I think that's how it goes. Sorry if a lot of these thoughts are very disconnected and whatever, and it's kind of all over the place, but these are just the things that I've thought about when it comes down to mouse and keyboard. And if you use mouse and keyboard, just like own up to it. Like, yes, you use mouse and keyboard, you're a scumbag. Yeah, that's just how it goes. But if that's your preferred way to play, that's your preferred way to play. No one can actually stop you. So, but is it shitty and scummy and cheating? Don't try to defend the fact that it's not an unfair advantage, that it isn't cheating, that I don't want to call it cheating, but it's very close to cheating, if you will. And I think that it just shouldn't be a thing. Flip side of that, if you're a controller player, these guys are killable. I'm sure I've ran into a couple and I've beaten them before, but is it completely fair? Don't think that I think this is fair. And although yes, I am using the gameplay right now, know that in the future that whenever I play Call of Duty Black Ops or whatever, I'm always going to be using controller. I think I'm most comfortable on controller still, and I don't want to upload gameplay that is considered scumbag. That's scummy. And that's just how it goes. So yeah. Again, no hate to Zim users. My friend, I have a friend that uses Zim anyways, and I mean, I guess that's just how it goes. It sucks. Is it fair? No. But I mean, if it's there, people are gonna abuse it. But it's just the people. It's the people that try to defend themselves and say that Zim is not cheating. No, it is cheating. But I mean, can we stop it? No, right? So, ASA in a day, controller players, you're just gonna have to deal with it until I guess that includes me too, considering that I'll be playing future games still with controller. But I think it's just one of those things you have to deal with as far as playing on console goes. There's going to be scummy mouse and keyboard users. There's going to be, and there's nothing you can really do to stop them until Sony does something about it or the developers does something about it. But yeah. So also, now that you guys know I have a Zim, I will definitely label out when it is a Zim gameplay and when it isn't. I definitely won't try to hide a Zim gameplay and say it's a controller gameplay. Majority of the times I think I will be using Zim on what's it called? Battlefield. I would be using Zim on older Call of Duties, although I don't think you'll see very much gameplays of older Call of Duties. Excuse me.
Alright, you wanna go cap,
And
go cap
I think as far as what other games would I use Zim on? I don't really know. I think as far as the Zim goes, I think I'll only use it on a Battlefield simply because I think the aiming system is designed very well for PC, and I think when I use mouse and keyboard on Battlefield, fuck, it's like easy mode. But Call of Duty is like fluid enough to the point where I use controller, and yeah, you know, and I think most times when you guys see me play with Zim, you're gonna hear the keyboard in the back and hear the clicking. I don't know if you guys can hear it right now, but I have a mechanical keyboard, so you guys are definitely gonna hear that. But yeah, so hopefully shine some light on keyboarding on console. Just kind of like my thoughts and stuff like that. I know they're not well arranged, and I hope that you guys just like, well, this guy's fucking retarded, he's just ranting. Well, I mean, I am just ranting, but hopefully you guys can see my points and see where I'm coming from. Again, I don't mean to offend you, but that's honestly like the way I see it. I think mouse and keyboard is just really a scummy move, and I don't see why people do it. It's really just scummy, like.
Do you get 2 reses per life in
so.
cosmetic?
Anywho, but on that note, though, I think it is time for me to cut this commentary and just let you guys enjoy the rest of this gameplay. I have some more Blackout gameplay left to upload, but as soon as Black Ops 4 come out, definitely expect that to be on the channel. I love Black Ops 4, and I'm so ready, so pumped to play that game. Super ready, super hyped, and there's other games as well. Marvel Spider-Man as well. I have to upload it onto my YouTube. I have a lot of that coming in, and so yeah, it's some stuff that I'm ready to put on my channel. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I guess leave your comments and thoughts on Zim Apex down in the comment section below. Just what you think. If I offended you, I'm sorry, but again, the way I feel about mouse and keyboard is just it's really just, to me, it's pretty much just cheating, so not quite there, but I mean it is quite the advantage. Yeah, it's a stupid amount of advantage. I don't know how else to put it, but either way, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Damn it, I almost made it to the door. Oh, we gotta cap some more flags. You're about to lose this one. Spawning on you, Bund Fair.
Hurting though. Damn. Careful, there's a bunch of guys near me. Do you think you come res me?
Oh, there was a laying down dude in the rubble.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's okay, we're tied.
I got 2 of them too. Got 2 of them. Spawn on this team, Indiana kill.
Let me guess.
Whoa,
Sitting up
4
there, no
people
wonder.
It's a dude sitting way in the back. And
Yeah,
the
dude.
armor train just came through and killed everybody. Like, I saw 4 deaths. I was like, whoa.
That is feels bad, man.
It's indeed.
I got you.
Oh, GG's. My boy right here, my boy.
Oh, there's a fucking tank across the hall over there.
Going through the buildings.
Yeah. We're tied.
We're gonna win it though. Yeah.
Nice, dude. Oh my god, I got 52 kills, Gavin. What the fuck?
Oh my god. The next highest was 31, dude. Or no,
Oh
never mind. This is my high score. It was a
Yeah.
36, but still. And I was close with a 34, but jeez, 51. Hey,
let's go, dude. Let's go. Let's fucking
100
go,
score
dude.
better than the other team. It's like one res.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Feels good.
Yeah, that feels good, dude.
Oh, I had the best score, best KD, best flags captured, 24. Fuck you, Daniel. I get all the flags. Those are my flags.
Wait, it says I got best KD as well.
We probably tied them, I guess.
Nah. Squad wipes.
What was it? I had 198.
Oh, most heals, 50 heals. I was like, you get a med pack, you get a med pack, and you get a med pack.
What was your KD?
It is, what is it, 52 and 15? It's 3.46?
What the heck? I have 198 and I have best.
Oh wait, I think out of the squad? I don't know, actually. I
Yeah.
have no clue, to be honest.
Oh. That's what it says, just on, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
that was